billion underlying.
Hi there, this video is called Live. Serious Energy Crisis Video, UK, 2022.
Biggest squeeze in 50 years.
We're joined now by the International Trade Secretary, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, live on Breakfast. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. Can we start with those huge underlying profits for BP? We talk a lot in this programme. I know you as MPs are asked as well a lot about the cost of living crisis. Surely profits of that scale, underlying profit of about £5 billion should be reinvested, shouldn't it, to help people struggling with the cost of living? Is this where a windfall tax would help?
So the announcement today, clearly I haven't seen the detail, but indicates that BP's profits will be able to enable them to continue to do what is an enormous transition programme towards clean energy. They've been one of the leading companies. When I was Energy Minister last year, worked very closely with them and others as they transition and invest, and therefore need profits to invest in the new energies of the future. We also tax an extra 10% tax on our energy companies already over and above other businesses. And the reality is that if we strip away their profits, we will not be able to do what is the most important thing, is to invest in those clean energies of the future, which will also enable us to come away from our reliance on foreign energy. As part of the Prime Minister's National Energy Security Review just a few weeks ago, he set out very clearly the commitment that we're making, not only to support through the support systems that the Chancellor has already brought in, £9 billion worth of support, but to make sure that we are transitioning as quickly as possible for our own energy security, but also so that we can lead the way, and I can help take British expertise to the rest of the world so that we can tackle the climate challenge that we all face.
But do you oppose a windfall tax then?
So I don't think stripping away profits in that way is the way to ensure, because as I say, they already have a higher tax level than other businesses. If they are energy companies, we want to see them investing across the piece in those clean energies of the future.
Can you understand how some of our viewers will be listening to that this morning, and they may well be tearing their hair out, because here at BP,
they will be
their highest underlying profit in over a decade, and yet there are people watching and listening to you this morning who are genuinely making that decision between heating and eating.
So that's why the Chancellor brought forward this enormous package of measures just a few weeks ago, £9 billion of support, and that's why the energy cap will be brought in at about £2,000 to ensure that we do all that we can through this energy spike, which is of course a global impact on disrupted energy markets. We can do all we can to support them. It would not be the right thing to do, in my opinion, to strip away profits which will be reinvested, and I think where we want to see that continue. BP can lead the way in demonstrating how that investment will ensure security of supply for us, for our citizens, our constituents, for the medium and long term, whilst the Chancellor's measures are ensuring that we support, as you say, those day-to-day bills right now.
There's lots of things I'd like to touch on with you this morning, if possible, and one of those is the really sharp focus that the conduct of MPs has come under in the last sort of week or so. Do you, as someone who's spoken about this quite graphically in the last few days, do you feel that there is a way forward? Do you think that things can and will change?
Yes, I think there is, and I think there has been already, because the ICGS brought in, which has now a grievance system where people who work in Westminster can take complaints and concerns to an independent body who have investigatory powers and indeed who have authority to issue punishments, are able to do that. And what we have to do is grow the confidence in this new organisation. The work that Andrea Leadsom and others did to bring that through was really important. We have to build the confidence of young women. I've spoken about when I was much younger and I was, as I put it, pinned up against the wall by a then MP who thought he had some sort of right to help himself, which he did not. Is that I didn't. Somebody asked me over the weekend. They said, "Well, why didn't you report it?" And I thought about it really hard. And actually, in my own head at the time, it was I got away from this creep. That was victory. And at the time, that was enough, because at least I had escaped anything worse. Now, that's not good enough. But these new systems that we have in place ensure that young men and women who are suffering from what is an abuse of power by the very small minority of men in Parliament who are, thinking they can get away with this stuff. We need to make sure that the punishment becomes a real deterrent.
It's about mobile phones in the House of Parliament.
People who are, suffering from this bad behaviour know that stepping up and being brave enough to say this happened to me will not in any way jeopardise their job. What it will do is ensure that the perpetrator gets a proper punishment.
You didn't report that at the time, as you mentioned. Do you think there are still some members of Parliament who would behave in that way towards women in the House?
I think, sadly, a very, very small minority have shown extremely bad behaviour, and I'm not privy to those who have reported, and I think huge credit to anyone who feels they can go to the ICGS, and they must do so. I would encourage anyone to do so, or indeed to come and seek support from our whips offices, or indeed colleagues, those of us who are now, old and long in the tooth and have seen it all. I mean, actually, the things, as some of us, female politicians have spoken over the weekend, there's a diatribe of groping and, bad behaviour, from always a very small cohort. But it's not okay. It's never okay. And as I say, and actually some of the younger male colleagues who've been in touch with me over the weekend have been as horrified, as we all are. And they are the future. They understand and have a much better handle on good workplace relations in what is a difficult work environment. It's a very strange place to work. But if you determine that we work very long hours because we have a lot to do, and the engagement with colleagues is how we make progress on so many things, we need to make sure that good behaviour is the standard, and that those who aren't behaving well are called out.
Do you support all women shortlists to try and make your party 50% women?
No, I don't. I don't think all female shortlists is a solution. Women are more than capable of presenting themselves and indeed winning on their own merits. What we need to do is to make sure that, whilst, as I say, it's an unusual workplace environment, not because of any bad behaviour, because it's just an unusual workplace environment, that we excite and encourage amazing women who are out there doing all sorts of amazing things in other sectors to consider a career in politics, either in local politics or in national politics, because we want the best voices, male and female, in Parliament, driving forwards policies and legislation of the future, which represents the whole country's views.
Talk about representation. What represents a success for your party in the local elections this week?
So it's a funny set of elections in that it's not across the country. It's only some councils. It's only some parts of councils. So I think honestly we'll win some and lose some. I think in some parts of the country where I've been campaigning, there's a really strong positive message for the Conservative Party. In others, there's some tougher calls. And I think when you've been in government for 12 years, that's not surprising.
Okay, but I
think we'll have a mixed bag.
You say some wins and some losses. I think mixed bag is what you said there. One paper, The Telegraph, are saying that you're on track to lose nearly 550 seats. Do you recognise that?
So I'm not close to the detail. I've just been supporting a number of candidates in a few councils. I think what we will see is in some areas where there are close calls. It will be close on the day. At the end of the day, I would always say, Conservative voters, make sure you get out and vote. If you want a Conservative council that's going to have lower council
no
tax,
chance.
Better local
You've
services,
lost.
4 times more
Game over.
filled in Conservative councils than Labour ones. Make sure you get out and vote on Thursday.
Okay, potholes is
vote Boris out. Vote Boris out.
The other is
Conservative referendum.
So I suppose that the national issue is the Prime Minister at the moment. What sort of pressure would a bad result put on him?
So as I say, it's a mixed set of elections, and we would expect to see some pressure after 12 years of government. So we will hope to and get our voters out on Thursday, and then carry on getting on with the job. The Prime Minister is today speaking to President Zelensky and the Ukrainian Parliament, really trying to give them a boost and making an announcement of
Partygate
equipment to support their incredible fight to defend their country, to defend freedom and their young democracy. So what we have on Thursday, we almost take for granted. We have democracy in action here in the UK, in all sorts of places. We take that for granted. The Ukrainians are fighting for their lives and their democracy, and the Prime Minister is championing them too.
I find it interesting, you seem quite positive about Thursday, and yet the vast majority of people are predicting that you're going to get absolutely walloped.
Aye, you will be.
As I say, I think we will win some and lose some.
No, darling,
there are some areas
your party's finished.
You know, that 12
Game
years,
over.
Of Conservative government brings its own pressures. But I would say these are local elections. These are about your local council and those local issues that are, you know,
checkmate. Yep, checkmate to you, darling.
And we know that Conservative councils ensure lower council tax, better service delivery, and that's what I encourage everyone to do, is to vote Conservative.
Anne-Marie Trevelyan, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel on Sign James and the Force BB Joys. Quite massive about the needs and money. Way the needs. Thanks for watching. Bye.